Just hear me out. I know this is like pretty mainstream normie stuff, but it's pretty interesting. Scary.
The dismembered body of a 14-year-old girl was found decomposing in a plastic bag in the front truck of a Tesla at a Los Angeles impound lot. The Tesla was registered in Hempstead, Texas to David Anthony Burke, also known as multi-platinum singer and songwriter David, who currently has 2 million followers on Instagram and nearly 40 million.
I've heard of this guy like through a bunch of Zoomer kids that I remember like freaking talking to over video games. Like he popped off in like the last 2 to 3 years.
Monthly listeners on Spotify. David was on tour the day she was found, traveling from Madison, Wisconsin to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Authorities expressed that David was cooperating with them, so it seemed like this was some horrible coincidence. But every day that passed, more information came out that made David look more like the prime suspect. The girl was identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who had run away from her home 14 months earlier and had been missing ever since. The LAPD said it is very likely she was dead for several weeks prior to her being discovered. Some of the other initial reports were shocking. She and David had a matching tattoo that...
Dude, he 100% groomed her, bro. By Zoomer, you mean Philly?
It said shh on their fingers. Her brother told police David regularly picked Celeste up in the same Tesla she was found dead in.
Why did you let that happen? Brother of teen saw you picking him up. I don't know. I feel like my brother would probably stop him. No, if you're a 14-year-old getting into the car of a 19-year-old.
Countless photos and videos were resurfaced where the two appeared to be close friends, if not possibly a couple. And one of the last times she was ever seen in public, she was backstage at one of his concerts. Now, if you look at all of the evidence I'm about to give you in no particular order, it screams that David is guilty. And by no means am I trying to defend him or prove him innocent, but we are talking about a very serious murder of a child. And I think there are a lot of people on the internet that are looking at this as pure entertainment, and they're confusing the story and spreading false information because it makes for a more interesting crime documentary. With that being said, what I'm going to do is try to establish a very clear timeline of events, from the moment Celeste may have met David to when she went missing, to what happened while she was missing, and ultimately when she was found dead, and what has been proven so far. In July of 2022, David releases his breakout song Romantic Homicide, where he sings, "In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry, not a single tear."
Where she died in the back of my mind. Like, I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died.
This song...
This is what we call foreshadowing, chat.
Would go extremely viral on TikTok, would eventually become multi-platinum, and launch him into fame. 1 month later, someone with the username Celeste messaged in David's Discord in August of 2022 saying that her parents are annoying and they won't let her go see him perform. He replies, "Don't worry, I'll fix it," which if this was the victim, she would have been 11 years old.
Yeah, good parenting. W parents. Not letting your 11-year-old go to a concert of some random rapper. Yeah,
at the time of this message. A few months later, in October of 2022, David asks for Celeste, and that same user replies, "Hi David, bark," seemingly excited to talk to him. She would have been 12 years old at the time.
This is so creepy, man.
A year later, in October of 2023, David says he thinks girls his age are... In December of 2023, a user in David's Discord takes a screenshot of what appears to be a live stream and asks David, "Who's the girl?" To which he replies,
"You're a fed." Yo, he's freaking what? He's live streaming himself with this chick, and then he says, "You're a fed for having a screenshot?"
Replies, "You are a fed," which basically means, "Why are you all up in my business?" Then again, if this was Celeste, who was not missing at this time, then he would be publicly hanging out with a 13-year-old. However, due to the low quality of this photo and half of her face being covered, it's hard to tell if this is actually Celeste. Plus, you will notice a trend of David always being around girls that look the same. There is is also this photo that may have been taken around the same time, December of 2023, although we don't have an exact date, but David's hair matched that color around late 2023 and early 2024. In January of 2024, David is seen on a live stream with the girl we strongly believe to be Celeste. It's important to know at the time of this stream, David was 18 years old, about to turn 19, and Celeste was 13. Also,
where are the parents in all of this? I'm not gonna lie. What's going on here?
so she was not a missing
I feel like the first thing you have to question is the parents. Both of their parents, too.
person at this time.
Yo, wait.
Where are his parents?
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer.
Which one? What's good, David? Big family spot me. Oh, thank you, Mitochondria.
We need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
It's interesting that they both wanted this stream deleted, probably because Celeste made this joke about R-wording kids.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything
Yeah, that's gonna absolve you of your crimes. You're right.
goes. Everything goes.
He says he media trained her, hinting that she can't just say wild things on the internet. Also in the
You media trained a 13-year-old and admitted that.
chat, they are making jokes about David being on
David Epstein.
the Epstein flight logs. So it seems like the conversation was something about David and minors. Also, someone in the chat typed in Celeste's name. So at some point, she was identified on this stream as Celeste. Also at this time, David was rolling out a song called Leave Her, where he sings the lyrics, "I can't stop falling for her," and also was posting a ton of TikToks suggesting he was infatuated with a girl. Around this time, David started sporting a lot of Hello Kitty gear, mugs, shirts, plushies. He even romanticized a Hello Kitty girl. Hello Kitty almost became like an extension of his brand, and
Remember what I said about like Labubu, Hello Kitty, Sanrio girls?
you'll notice a lot of Hello Kitty adjacent stuff with Celeste in a bit. In February of 2024, David's manager, Josh Marshall, entered a lease for a Hollywood Hills home. However, the owner wasn't informed that David was actually going to be the one living there. On February 14th, 2024, which was Valentine's Day, 70 miles south of David's home is a town called Lake Elsinore, California. A 13-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas Hernandez was reported missing. Family members made posts to Facebook asking people to help locate her. Celeste's aunt wrote, "We still don't know anything about my niece, and I will not get tired of begging God and appear well. I love you, and you know that the mercy of God will accompany you wherever you are. I have faith and you will return to our arms." Missing person posters were distributed around Celeste's neighborhood, and her family posted as many photos as possible to ensure she could be found. According to private investigator Steve Fisher, Celeste's mother somehow found out that she was with David and emailed his manager Josh, but this PI did not release the email. He also says a couple days after this email, Celeste returned home on February 20th, 2025. Celeste's cousin made a post on Facebook a few days after.
So they repeatedly had her like held kind of like not, I guess you would say it's kidnapping because she's a child.
After she returned home saying, "Be careful with who you talk to on the internet, guys. Don't make the same mistakes my cousin made." However, just a few weeks
Oh my god, that's so ominous.
later, Celeste was reported missing for a second time in March of 2024. On
What? How many times are you gonna let your kid go missing?
March 19th, 2024, Celeste was captured on security camera footage belonging to Delago Spirits, a liquor store just down the street from her family home. At 7 a.m., a teen identified as Celeste by her family is seen walking down the street wearing an oversized black hoodie and white pants. Now, her being out at this time isn't necessarily weird because kids walk to school or the bus in the morning, but out of nowhere, she begins to run around the corner. What I find interesting is how the other person she walks past stops and turns their head to look back at Celeste, almost like she noticed something weird. Like,
yeah, that's usually a big telltale sign. Usually when people walk past each other, you don't give them a second glance unless they're acting really weird. I've noticed that about myself.
Was she crying or did she say something? During this time,
Probably
chat logs
crying,
from
yeah.
David's Discord indicate that his closest fans knew about them. Someone said, "Pretty sure he is dating right now," and another user replied, "Yeah, her name is Celeste." Shortly after, Celeste was
I love that all of these things are like out in the public on some fucking Discord too. Like the feds are gonna get these logs and be like, oh, well, would you look at that?
found and brought back home by police. Celeste was reported missing for the third and final time in April of 2024. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department opened a missing person investigation after Rivas left her home at 9 p.m. on April 5th, wearing gray pants and a black sweater, as well as a hat and Hello Kitty sandals. Celeste's brother Matthew told NBC-LA that family members were aware that the girl knew the singer David. Matthew Rivas said when his sister disappeared, she was on her way to see a movie with him, but never returned. Her brother also said that David regularly picked her up in the same Tesla her body was found in.
I don't want to speak for my brother directly, but like he was protective when I was like growing up as a kid. I just feel like if I saw my 13-year-old sister, even if I wasn't a boy and I wasn't a male, I'd stop them. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like partially the responsibility falls on you. Several times talking to some 19, 18-year-old dude, talking to your little sister.
Now, a reasonable person would assume that the family did not know that David was 19. Maybe they could have assumed he was 16 because that is the age you need to be to legally drive a car. Whether or not David knew that Celeste was 6 years younger than him at this point is not clear, but many people have a
I mean, I know he has to say this for legal reasons, but like, holy shit, man.
hard time believing that David could not be aware that he was regularly hanging out with, or worse, being romantically involved with a child. After April 2024,
You could tell with how she was behaving on stream that she was a kid.
Celeste's family would never see her again, at least we think. A source for the Daily Mail claimed Celeste stayed in contact with friends for more than a year after being reported missing. There was a photo of her taken at a family member's graduation, but it was posted in August of 2024, and graduations don't typically happen in August. So it was either sometime in May or June when graduations typically happen, or maybe even a full year before. But regardless, the photo seems like it was uploaded long after it was taken. While Celeste was missing, an insider revealed the family received a strange phone call that made them stop searching for her. "I know someone who called her mom and said, 'Stop looking for her, she's fine,'" the insider said. They told the family to take down the social media posts about her being missing.
Blackmail.
The identity of the alleged caller is unknown, and there's no way to know if they are connected to David. 2 months after being missing, on June 27th, 2024, many believe Celeste is captured backstage walking alongside David's brother at one of his concerts in Los Angeles. Now, this evidence is much stronger, but pay attention here. David posted a TikTok on February 7th, 2024, before Celeste went missing the first time. It says, "When your card declines at therapy and they bring in that one Hello Kitty girl you met in 2021, take a look at his jeans and the Hello Kitty plushie looped onto his pants. This next photo is a POV shot of a girl with fair skin holding his belt loop wearing the Hello Kitty themed crop."
Dude, this is some insane detective work. Boyfriend's kitty.
Crocs. Those Crocs match the ones that Celeste was wearing backstage, and the description of her missing person report says that she was wearing Hello Kitty sandals. Even though we can't 100% confirm, I do strongly believe that the girl who was captured going backstage is Celeste. But now there is a huge gap in the timeline, from June of 2024 to September 2025 when she was found dead. During this 14-month gap, very little is known, and it's very speculative as to what happened and where she was during that time. But this is all the evidence we have. July of 2024 is an insanely important month to remember, because basically all of the evidence that we have takes place in this 1 month period. July 7th, 2024, David posts a TikTok of him and a girl with the same skin complexion as Celeste sitting in his Tesla, with the caption, "Softest soft launch of all time," suggesting he is now in a relationship relationship. Firstly, we know this wasn't a real-time photo because David was in London on July 7th for the first date of his My House Is Not a Home tour, which means that these photos were taken before July 7th. Maybe he was bored on the plane or in a hotel and just posted them. To know if this is Celeste, first we must take a look at some more photos posted by a TikTok account named Yay Woohoo. This account posted photos with David seemingly from that exact same day, including one of them kissing and him having a hickey on his neck. The red straight hair initially made people think this was not Celeste because she had black curly hair, but the backstage video of her in June
he made her dye it, dude.
Seems to indicate she may have dyed her hair.
I always have to think through the lens of like, this is like unadulterated grooming because he wants to cover it up. I don't know, I just don't think kids are that smart, especially at that age, to like do that kind of thing on their own volition.
The frizziness is likely a result of using a hot flat iron to straighten thick curly hair. There was also a Discord user in David's official Discord named Yay Woohoo, matching the TikTok account name, who insiders
And it's the same profile picture that was named Celeste.
assumed was Celeste. But look at the profile picture. It is seemingly from the perspective of the Yay Woohoo girl and David in the Tesla. They're both doing the Spider-Man hand thing at the camera. It looks like David's hand is on the left and her hand is on the right. You can even spot a ring on her finger, which I will get to in a second. In this photo, it seems like they are parked next to another
some Discord detective work, bro. This is crazy.
Car with the windows rolled down, just like some teenagers hanging out late at night. It appears that the car next to them has someone in it with a black hoodie on. I mean, I think that jumble of pixels is a person. So if you compare that Yay Woohoo profile picture on Discord with some of the photos that were posted on TikTok, it seems like they may have been chilling all day and all night in that Tesla, sort of taking pictures and hanging out. On July 11th, 2024, David wrote a message in his Discord that said, "Me and deleted user have a kid on the way. We don't know if that deleted
You sick frick. If that's real, bro.
user is the same Yay Woohoo user, but it might be." David was in Paris when he wrote that message. Many people suggest that he was talking about Celeste and have developed tons of theories surrounding this alleged pregnancy. First of all, even if this was true, there's no way that that baby was born. That would mean that a baby would have been born in April of 2025 at the absolute latest, and I don't think you are hiding a baby for this long. Now, it is possible that the pregnancy could have been real and maybe there was an abortion, or maybe she got pregnant again, but we're really stretching that at this point. People have also used this photo, which was posted by Yay Woohoo, as Celeste standing behind David and mimicking a pregnancy announcement, comically placing her hands around an invisible baby bump on David's belly. Basically, people on the internet are trying to establish a motive, that David may have gotten Celeste pregnant and maybe he thought that that would ruin his career, or people would find out that he got a child pregnant and the result of that was potentially a murder. That definitely could be a motive, and we don't want to discredit that completely, but it does seem like the timeline doesn't exactly match up. Also, this theory has been debunked because Celeste Rivas' official death certificate revealed that she was not pregnant and had not been pregnant in the last year. Anyways, Yay Woohoo is now a deleted account, but there is a Discord chat log that has this person identifying themselves as Yay Woohoo and then saying she's with David right now on July 22nd, 2024, which could definitely be true because David's European tour ended 6 days before this message. This user also posted a photo in David's Discord wearing a ring where you can also see a red finger tattoo that says David. And if we go back to the Yay Woohoo TikTok post, all the way in the bottom right corner, you can see what looks like a red finger tattoo. And then again, if we look at the Yay Woohoo Discord profile picture, you can also see the ring on the finger. Also, this same mystery girl, Yay Woohoo, who we think might be Celeste, made a post on Instagram under the name Hello Kitty Life Girl sitting across from David. I believe this photo was also posted around July of 2024 because David dyed his hair all the way black at that time and posted a photo of him wearing what appears to be that same pink shirt. In the Hello Kitty Life Girl photo, you can see the ring and the red tattoo on the girl's finger. Plus, she was wearing a sweater that David had been photographed in. The red tattoo is important because authorities confirmed that the body they found inside the Tesla had a tattoo on her right index finger with the letters shh. David also has a tattoo on his finger that says shh, meaning they allegedly have matching tattoos.
And it's also like, shh, don't talk about our relationship type shit, dude. Secrecy, you know? Yeah, because he's an adult and she's a kid.
This is confusing because Ye Woohoo's tattoo doesn't say shh, it says his name. And it's all
Oh, but that's even worse, because, like, if she doesn't have the sh, her name is David, and he won't say her name because he knows what he's doing is wrong.
also on her left ring finger, not her right index finger, which means Ye Woohoo either isn't actually Celeste or that red David.
Multiple girls? No. How can a minor have a tattoo? I can see what happens is because he has a decent amount of influence. He could probably get like a friend to do it and look the other way and be like, oh yeah, she's 19, she's with me. I think people underestimate how much you can get away with if you just have confidence when you like talk to someone. Yeah, or a back alley tattoo artist, or friends that are tattoo artists. Like, it's not that hard.
Tattoo wasn't real and maybe it was a temporary tattoo, or this could be Celeste and she had both tattoos. She had shh on this finger and then she had David's name on her ring finger. But if that were true, then it makes the police report incredibly confusing. When the police found the body in the Tesla, they knew that it was the pop star David's Tesla, and then they said that, oh, she had a matching tattoo with David that said shh. Why would they reveal that and not the one that says David on her finger? That would not be the easiest connection ever. Like, oh, okay, this car belongs to David, body in the car, oh yeah, her finger says David. Like, that seems like really crucial evidence. That's just where something doesn't really match up for me. Well,
it could also be a false reporting or bad reporting, you never know.
This edit, I had another thought about this whole ring finger situation. The police did reveal that the body was dismembered or cut up. We don't know to what extent, how bad it was, or what was missing. But it makes me think if potentially the left ring finger or maybe the left hand was missing as a potential way to cover up the evidence.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, what if they didn't? Wow.
This would be some insane level, like serial killer, premeditated murder type stuff. At the end of July 2024, we have this photo of
I will tell you one thing though, like from watching enough forensic files and like crime, whatever investigations, to chop up a body and like mutilate it post-mortem, that's like another level of like psychopathy than just like, you know, murking someone and then like burying them or something. Like, there's like steps and levels to like the psychopathy. Yeah.
David at a party and a girl that strongly resembles Celeste, or Ye Woohoo, behind him. Red curly hair, ring on the finger, wearing David's silk bandana that he has worn hundreds of times. I'm pretty sure that Ye Woohoo is Hello Kitty Life Girl.
Why leave it in his car? Because he's stupid. I literally don't even know what to say. It just because he's stupid.
And it is that girl wearing the silk bandana behind David at the party. But I can't confirm that this is Celeste, although it does seem like it. But there is even more evidence to dissect in July of 2024, I think. And it starts with this photo that was taken right around the corner from Celeste's house. Reports have not identified her exact address, but they revealed that she lived down the street from Del Lago Spirits in Lake Elsinore, California, which would mean somewhere on Jamieson Street. A new townhome community was being developed down Laguna Ave, less than a half a mile away from where Celeste lived. Referring to Google Maps, you can see this is the same parking lot that the photo was taken. Note the double-lined parking lot spaces, specifically the one all the way on the end next to the dirt patch. Also note across the street the brown fence that turns into a white fence, and take note of the wooden utility poles in the back that have the 3 distribution transformers on them. Since David lives 70 miles from Lake Elsinore, California, the only reason he would be down there right around the corner from where she lives is because he at least knew her, at least hung out with her. I mean, we know for a fact at this point there's absolutely no like world where he's like, oh yeah, I don't know who this girl is, I never met her, and nothing. There's enough evidence where they were together for sure. They spent time together. Now, text messages were released by someone who contacted this kid who was standing across from David to give context about why they were in that parking lot. Bro, this was a secret that wasn't supposed to get out. David didn't know how old the girl was. She was
That's cap. That's no, that's bullshit.
Lying and saying she was 19.
No, a 19-year-old does not act like a 13-year-old. That just doesn't happen. Sorry. I refuse to believe that.
when he was 20, and the second he found out, he took her home, and since we were some dumb kids, we tried to blackmail him, and we really messed up. And if you keep that video up, you could ruin his life for doing nothing wrong over a girl lying, and then you could ruin my life because he would know I leaked it, and I could go to jail for like slandering him. Now we know this kid's story can't be all the way true because it makes it seem like David hung out with Celeste one time, she lied about her age, and then he drove her back home. And we know they hung out more than one time, but the specific details of this kid blackmailing David actually don't matter. What does matter is simple. This kid knew about David and Celeste, and David did not want anyone else to know about them, and he was willing to pay someone to forget about it, which, you know, opens the door up for so much speculation after like how many times could he have paid someone off or had somebody keep quiet or just, you know, controlled his surroundings to make sure that nobody found out about him and Celeste. However, the date of when this happened is extremely important, and I have some weak evidence, but I do think this parking lot transaction also took place in July of 2024. But we have to focus on the outfit. Now, he wore this beanie for the first time publicly in February of 2024, which was around the first time Celeste went missing. He posted 2 TikToks wearing the cap, but David had long hair in February of 2024, and you could see his hair protruding from the sides of his hats. In the parking lot photo, you can't see his hair from the sides. However, in July of 2024, he...
Dude, we're gonna have to like have TikTok detective investigators where people, you know, they post evidence of themselves doing a crime and putting together things and making timelines.
Posted a TikTok wearing nearly the exact same outfit as the parking lot photo. But David was in Europe at the time of posting this TikTok. There are also no other photos or videos of him wearing this exact beanie in this color anytime after July of 2024. Now,
so
I told you the
July.
evidence was weak. However, brand new evidence was just released that throws an unexpected curveball in this entire situation. TMZ obtained a video recorded by a Nest doorbell camera on September 8th, 2024. But the crazy part is, she is back home in Lake Elsinore, and she got into an argument with her neighbors.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk? I ain't gonna let you talk. No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping. I ain't tripping. Nah, you tripping. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk? All right, I'm not gonna let your woman talk.
The rest of the clip is just her screaming back and forth with the
Man, she lives in a very dysfunctional place, man.
neighbors. Now keep in mind,
is
Celeste's
crazy.
birthday is September 7th. This video is on September 8th
I've
at
never
what
yelled at
seems
my
to be like
neighbors,
early
not
hours in the
gonna
morning,
lie.
which indicates she was up late, potentially celebrating her birthday. Maybe she was with family. I mean, we know she was home. And to me, she sounds intoxicated or under the influence. Fans immediately recognized Celeste's voice and confirmed that it was the same voice that is in David's songs Invisible String Theory and You Left Me First, but I can't play them due to copyright. Now, a lot of people on the internet are trying to say that, like, oh, David's lawyers are revealing this, then they're trying to make her look like angry or unruly to try to paint some sort of narrative that maybe she is somehow at fault for her own death, but that is honestly just totally not focusing on what is mostly important about this clip. This is a massive reveal because it completely reshapes the timeline of Celeste's disappearance. Until now, the assumption was that she vanished in April of 2024 and that her family had never seen her since, and that we had to do our investigative detective work to assume that maybe the last time she was ever seen was the end of June backstage at that one David show. But this Nest video proves she was still alive in September of 2024, which means every theory built around her going missing in April or going missing after June or July has to be reconsidered. It drastically narrows the potential window.
See what I'm saying about the TikTok reels and the posting and the cross-referencing?
Of when she may have
Making
died, and it
timelines?
places her back
People are
at
gonna get
home,
paid for
not
that
hidden
one day.
away, abducted, or deceased. It also raises new questions about why her family didn't publicly clarify that they saw her or that she returned home. TMZ reported that when the neighboring family saw Celeste that night, they just assumed she'd been found and everything was fine. So when did she go missing again? Was she just running away and coming back so much that her family couldn't keep up and just forgot? Did they just get used to her being gone for extended periods of time? Like, oh yeah,
They just don't care, I'm gonna be honest. The fact that one of the evidence pieces of like the family talking on Facebook about how much they miss her, they specifically said the aunt. Where's the mom? Where's the dad?
Like Celeste, she just ran away again. We haven't seen her for a few weeks. 'Cause remember the first time she ran away, February 2024, they made a big deal, rightfully so. Posters, flyers, posts on Facebook. In March of 2024, when she disappeared, same thing. More posters, more flyers. They went down the road to the liquor store to find the surveillance footage. But then April of 2024, not as much. And it sounds messed up to say, but you can imagine a family, if they have a child who keeps running away and keeps not wanting to be back home, like eventually you're probably going to stop putting up the flyers and the posters, especially if she periodically is coming back home. Now, the idea that David's legal team could be purposefully releasing this to help his case, I mean, yeah, that is possibly true. Well, that's what they're going to do. I mean, they're defending their own case, which logical people understand that. This doesn't necessarily clear him, but it is interesting that previously we thought the last time she had ever been seen alive was backstage at one of his shows, and now the last time that she had ever been seen alive is actually at home. But we still have 12 months of a total blackout period, essentially nothing. No photos, no videos, or anything to prove that she was alive after September of 2024 and ultimately until she was found dead, September 2025. From an investigative perspective, that 12-month gap is critical because it creates a complete blackout of evidence. In any missing persons case, the period between
That's a classic too. Having like a massive like social media like not disparagement, but like a massive gap in her history of what she was doing. He was probably like restricting her, like, you know, social media presence, doesn't talk on Discord, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. He was probably really paranoid too.
Disappearance and discovery is when investigators look for sightings, digital traces, financial activity, or even small inconsistencies that can narrow down a timeline. But with Celeste, there is basically nothing. That void doesn't point investigators towards a suspect or location, it leaves them with nothing. Now again, I am not defending David. We do know at some point he was spending time with this 13-year-old girl, that she was running away from home to go and hang out with him. We know that they were at least friends, or maybe even potentially more than friends. But this 12 to 14 month gap between, you know, the last time that David had contact with her and then her being dead, I mean, that blackout period, it actually makes his case stronger because literally anything could have happened. She could have been in a different country, she could have met some other guy, she could have been dead. I mean, there's so many things that could have happened that your imagination can go anywhere. There is this one tiny thing that might be a clue. In February of 2025, David posted this TikTok on his burner account of him joking about cleaning shoes as a side hustle. He's cleaning a pair of Hello Kitty shoes as well as a pair of white, black, and gray Jordans that seemingly match a pair that Celeste owned. Some people have interpreted this as him cleaning up his crimes. And the next clue or evidence, which honestly isn't even that strong, doesn't show up until July of 2025, which is a full year later. In July of 2025, 2 months before Celeste was found dead, another girl named Celeste was seen hanging out with David, completely confusing the story. And it starts with this video of him at an arcade. Some live streamers walked up to him, and you can see this girl on the right has her back to the camera. David grabs her arm and pulls her in towards him, and she walks backwards purposefully, keeping her back to the camera until he physically turns her around.
Don't be shy, don't be shy.
She is seen wearing what looks like the exact same Gap hoodie that was in the photos on the missing person poster. When I first saw it, I thought, wow, okay, this is definitely the missing girl. But we now know it's not. In a photo posted by one of David's friends, you can see Celeste Herrera is tagged, wearing the same thick square frame black glasses. And you can see David in the background wearing that same silk bandana. This girl is 23 years old. Here is another shot of her from the front, and you could see that this is not the same missing Celeste. Others speculated that the missing Celeste is the girl in the gray flannel in the back, but that is also untrue. That is just a friend of Herrera's named Vanessa, seen pictured here. And
That is so weird. How did you find two Celestes of like the same kind of like skin complexion, the same stature? This is confusing. Is it on purpose?
Goes by the Instagram username Space Doll. Now, is it really strange that he was hanging out with another girl named Celeste who had the same exact hoodie and looked very similar? Yes, but what it means is up to speculation. It's evident that David kept a very specific type of girl around him. Fair brown skin, dark curly hair. He even has a music video where a girl with light brown skin and dark curly hair gets murdered and thrown in the trunk of a car. Some
In the industry, we call this foreshadowing.
Say this was on purpose, like these were decoys or distractions so nobody could find out about the missing Celeste. And if that were true and this was all by design, now we're talking about like Dahmer level, Bundy level, like serial killer behavior. But again, that's just speculation. I've seen people say that Celeste's friends stopped hearing from her in July of 2025 as a way to prove that she was still alive at this point, but this case is serious enough where we need irrefutable proof of that. However, the facts of this case really start to ramp up and become crucial around August of 2025. On August 5th, 2025, David performed the first show of his Withered World Tour in Del Mar, California.
Oh.
Upon entering the venue, fans encountered a vigil where David commemorated the death of his alter ego, Atami, which represented the subconscious evil that we all have within us, according to an interview from 2024. David expressed wanting to create an animated series surrounding his alter ego.
Then he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego, and the story of the manga went like I was a detective and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments. He would commit the crimes that I...
Dude, this is too on the nose. There's no way he actually, like... no. Yeah, I did the crime and then, like, I'm gonna scapegoat the alter ego.
I would have to solve as the detective.
David has also been known to express his love for gore, at one point even saying he was addicted to watching gore videos. I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes, and a lot of death, he says. He admitted that he became so desensitized to it that he would laugh at gore videos or videos of murder. Another signature part of his branding was his blood-stained shirt that he often took photos in, performed in. David's artistic branding has consistently revolved around death, violence, and psychological darkness, but he complements it with these beautiful singing ballads that make it feel poetic and romantic rather than purely grotesque. This isn't necessarily new at all. Tons of super famous artists like XXXTentacion, My Chemical Romance, Trippie Redd, 9 Inch Nails have pursued a similar artistic direction. However, now people are looking at his branding as almost him hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
At the opening night of the Withered tour...
Yeah, but you can't compare, like, a bunch of artists, like... I don't know. I feel like it's too literal given what you find out, too.
David's fans were greeted with an elaborate setup that included...
And as far as I know, they weren't involved with little kids, so... yeah.
A casket being wheeled out of a hearse. Inside, the casket sat near a wreath and a guest book where people could write notes to Atami. David's online shop sells something called the Withered Scrapbook, where his fans are encouraged to share, when do you feel like Atami takes over? What usually happens? And how does it make you feel? Another page asks fans to write a letter to Atami, talk to them like a friend or maybe an enemy, and let them know how you feel about their presence in your life. This is especially disturbing because during the first few weeks of this tour, the LAPD believes there was a dead girl decomposing inside the trunk of his Tesla.
So he was trying to dissociate from what he did, or he left breadcrumbs. I was gonna say maybe he was leaving clues. This is another funny kind of like fact, or not so funny fact about serial killers. Some of them unironically want to get caught. Yes, it's a psychological phenomenon that's been studied for like, I want to say probably like 50 plus years. Some of them leave breadcrumbs on purpose so that they can like, then they can get found out. Yeah, it's like exhibitionists. It makes them excited. And the fact that he's doing it in such plain sight makes him excited, and he likes that like feeling. I don't know if it's like a one-to-one to this. Obviously, there's not much information, but this kind of thing like really makes me think about that. Yeah. Or he's dissociating and wanting to like make up excuses and be like, oh yeah, it's my personality, bro.
The residents of the Hollywood Hills community where David lived reported a Tesla sedan had been sitting on Bluebird Avenue for at least 3 weeks. They also said that the car was spotted in various places around the neighborhood in the preceding months, as far back as the end of May. Now this seems incredibly odd. Did David not have a garage or a free parking space.
I'm sure
Why not
he
just
did.
park
He's
the car
rich.
at his place? It's not like he was this car collector known to have multiple cars just kind of sitting around. As far as we know, this was his only vehicle. The car was officially reported to the police on August 26th as residents wanted it moved. The next day, the street was marked with white chalk around the tires, so if it was moved, the white chalk would be messed up and there would be white residue on the tire. They came back to the car on September 3rd and there was no marking on the tires, therefore it never moved, so they issued a ticket. Then 2 days later the car was still not moved, so on September 5th it was officially towed at 10:20 a.m. However, 3 days after it was towed, on September 8th, 2025 at 12:30 p.m., officers responded to a report of a foul odor coming from the impounded vehicle at the Hollywood tow lot on North Mansfield Avenue in LA, and that's when they found the decomposing body. Many people have come to the conclusion that David left this car, or someone else left
Dude, it takes a lot for a body to smell.
this car on the street with her body in there. But if her body was decomposing in the trunk for days or weeks in the hot Los Angeles summer, wouldn't the stench be apparent? Multiple different people were likely around this car. Residents maybe walked their dogs by the car. They knew that the car was suspiciously parked there for weeks. It bothered them enough to report it, and obviously the tow truck driver had to connect the car to the tow truck, thus being pretty close to it, and nobody had reported an odor at that point. I mean, maybe it's possible that the plastic bag or multiple plastic bags that were holding the body had masked the smell, and yeah, maybe if the trunk was airtight, I suppose the odor couldn't have leaked out. But then once it was towed, the body may have gotten tossed around and sort of seals were broken and fumes were exposed. When scanning the area, you can see that the car was suspiciously parked in the perfect place. Almost all of these houses have massive privacy hedges, so even if these houses have cameras, they likely can't see what's going on in the street. The car was parked in such a specific place that only one house across the street could have gotten a video of it, and that's only if they had a camera near the roof. Police searched for surveillance video in the Hollywood Hills area where David's Tesla was abandoned. Multiple residents who live on the block recalled LAPD sweeping the area and talking with every neighbor they can track down to see if there's a ring camera or surveillance video showing David's car. The neighbor who called to have the car towed also spoke to police and turned over footage. I don't think we are going to get a perfect video that solves this case. The best we are likely going to get is a video from a house down the street or around the corner that just tells us potentially the last time that the car was driven in the general area. But that would be a major discovery, because if we know when the last time that car was driven, we can potentially rule David in or out as being the driver, since he was on tour around the time it was reported. Like, for example, if the car was driven any time after August 6, 2025, then it wasn't David that drove the car. That doesn't necessarily mean he isn't involved, because since this is a Tesla, it's unlikely the car was stolen or even broken into. Teslas are some of the least stolen cars in America, and that's basically because the car is a computer, which also brings up so many other questions. Those cars track everything. They have cameras everywhere. They have satellites that are...
There was also drama with Tesla, how they were recording it all the time, even when the user wasn't aware of it, so...
constantly taking in information and reporting other information. You can even get a notification on your phone when the trunk is opened. We have to assume the LAPD is looking into his Tesla account, no?
Well, it's all going to depend on if Sentry mode was turned on. Because if Sentry mode was actually activated on the vehicle, then it's doing a lot of recording of video footage from its 8 external cameras. And so if that was the case, then you'd actually have clips of the people opening the door, a clip of someone opening the trunk, and that could possibly be recovered by the police. Now, if Sentry mode's not turned on, then it's not going to be doing any of those recordings, and what you'll get is recordings when the vehicle's in motion versus when it's stationary.
LAPD Captain Scott M. Williams says, "We know that the Tesla had been parked at the location from which it was towed for several weeks, so it is very likely Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been dead for several weeks prior to her body being discovered, which supports the theory that it could have happened before he went on tour on August 5th.
Now, David was supposed to be starting his Withered tour on July 30th, 2025. That is according to original merch that he put out for this tour. He was supposed to perform in San Francisco on July 30th. He was supposed to perform in Phoenix, Arizona on August 1st, and then was supposed to perform in Del Mar, California on the 2nd and on the 5th. The first 3 shows, however, were canceled. He didn't start his tour on July 30th. He instead started the tour on August 5th, 6 days late.
The medical examiner's office said the victim is a female who wore a tube top, black leggings, a yellow metal chain bracelet, and stud earrings. She had wavy black hair and weighed approximately 71 pounds. The day before her body was
71 pounds. How tall was she? He starved her. There's no way. 71 pounds. That's nothing.
Found September 7th was actually her birthday, so she technically never turned 15 years old. David posted a selfie that day with a Hello Kitty shirt on, despite potentially being a suspect.
That's 32 kilograms. I weighed that much when I was like... Oh, wait, never mind. She's 13, 14. I was about to say. Yeah, I was about to say, that's how much I weighed when I was 13 to 14 years old.
In a homicide case, David still performed at his show.
I was thinking she was a fully grown woman, and then I had to remember that she's actually a kid, so my bad.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota on September.
Even to 5'3", you weigh like a 110. Yeah, but she's a kid. Yeah, if you're 13, 14 years old. Chat, you have to remember this isn't a fully grown woman.
9th, 2020.
Even if she's 5'3".
25. That same day, Crocs and Hollister dropped David from its Dream Drop collection, which launched just 6 days earlier.
In the beginning, she was 120. Was she? I didn't catch that. Anyway, sorry. I getting ahead of myself.
Was actually her birthday, so she technically never turned 15 years old. David posted a selfie that day with a Hello Kitty shirt on. Despite potentially being a suspect in a homicide case, David still performed at his show in Minneapolis, Minnesota on September 9th, 2025. That same day, Crocs and Hollister dropped David from its Dream Drop collection, which launched just 6 days earlier. Less than 24 hours after the body was found in her car, remember, Celeste's identity had not been revealed to the public just yet, and none of the information you now know was revealed. This comment shows up on Reddit. This guy is a pedo from what I've heard. My sister, who is now in 9th grade, told me that he was dating an 8th grader. Let's call her C. And she would go on trips with him to LA. They're all in 9th grade, and it turns out...
My sister, who is now in 9th... Why did you... What is with these brothers and sisters letting this happen? I'm actually kind of flabbergasted.
C's friends knew, and he would pay them to keep their mouths shut. C has been missing for over a month now, and no one knows her whereabouts. Definitely something strange going on. Celeste, whose name starts with C, was 13 to 14 years old, which would make her an 8th grader. Plus, remember, we had gone over evidence that was later...
Even if I heard that in passing, I would probably investigate this, even if it wasn't like my related sister or something like that. I don't know. Just like
they're revealed of David allegedly paying off someone who caught the two together, which is extremely interesting, and it reveals that even...
I'm not saying like go out with like a fucking axe and like start like freaking out and like accusing people, but I just feel like investigations have to be done if it's like, you know, substantial enough.
And sort of random, regular people knew about what was going on, and that David was romantically involved with a child, but kept quiet. The cause of the teen's death is still classified as deferred. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or the manner of Miss Rivas Hernandez's death. That's also why there hasn't been any arrests yet. It remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. They are still waiting on toxicology reports to determine if there was substances in her system. Robbery homicide detectives served a search warrant at the home David was renting. On September 17th, 2025, several items of evidence were recovered from the home, including his computer, and will be analyzed by detectives.
Check his
Investigators
hard drive.
also searched the home for blood. LAPD's Scientific Investigation Division took part in the 12-hour search of David's home, using luminol to look for trace amounts of blood. Luminol is a chemical spray investigators mist over floors, walls, or objects in a darkened scene. If it contacts the iron and hemoglobin, which are red blood cells, even in tiny, cleaned, or diluted traces, it produces a brief blue-white flow that reveals hidden blood stains for photography. However, they did not state officially whether or not they found any blood in his place. An immediate neighbor in Hollywood said he saw David and Celeste all the time and believed they had lived together at the home. They were pretty quiet. I never saw police there and didn't hear them partying or anything. Nothing wild. I last saw them a couple of months ago. I'm not sure, but I thought they were just kids, like a couple aged 18 and 19. Celeste's former science teacher was seen taking out his phone and informing students that he had taught Celeste years earlier. The teacher was teaching a lesson on the dangers of social media and used her as an example.
I keep saying there's foreshadowing, but gosh, man.
That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here. Okay, hold up. I got another one because I got a picture on TMZ of this other kid exchanging stuff with the rapper who we alleged did this stuff. Hold on a second, because he's also in my classroom.
Wait, how long ago was this?
We all just found out yesterday who it was, but she's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year, May of 2024. That's when her friends told me what happened, that it was this rapper, and then I found out yesterday that she's now dead in that rapper's car, cut in
Oh my
pieces.
god. Why are you telling this in front of kids? I must say it. I think that's weird. Nah, I think it's a bit weird.
I just said it. Social media.
Someone interested in the
social media. I get what he's saying, but like, God. Scare him straight. I mean, he didn't have to say that they fucking cut up her body, dude. That's, I don't know, it's a bit much.
case found and contacted Matthew, who was Celeste's brother, on
Maybe I'm being a
Instagram. The
weenie.
person questioned
care.
why David followed Matthew. He replied, "He found my account out of nowhere and followed me." He also said that he met David once. When asked if the family knew about Celeste dating David and living at his home, Matthew said, "I knew and went to the police about it, but lack of evidence, so it was waived off." Matthew also said that David would tell Celeste that he was waiting until she turned 18 to get married, which could make the ring on Ye Wahoo's finger some sort of promise ring. Matthew was unaware of all of the resurfaced Discord messages. He confirmed that a number of the photos circulating on the internet are of his sister and David. He also confirmed that leaked text messages between Celeste and her friend are real, where Celeste talks about sexual activity with David. She wrote, "I only bled with David," and then she said,
I'm gonna be sick, man.
"With Gus, I was just drunk and did it because he got mad at me the first time
I was drunk
for not having X with him." Matthew said these texts were real because he knows who Gus was. He lived in Elsinore, California, and was killed by gun violence. More
That's
deleted
sad.
user Discord messages were revealed that show someone potentially
was a virgin until 11, gang. Where are you at? Wow. Yeah. Wood chipper. If this is all true, wood chipper time.
Celeste admitting to losing their virginity at age 11. Now there are so many more rumors, hearsay, rabbit holes, but I tried to include all of the facts along with reasonable speculation or leads that have a decent source. There is nothing wrong with asking questions and tracking down leads, but it starts to feel like people want to be a part of a Netflix crime documentary style expose more than just reasonable, logical concern for a young girl. There was a guy on Reddit who said he lives near David and started scoping out the place, allegedly finding a discarded Tesla key, suggesting it may have been David's. He did report it to the police. There's also rumors that David was paying Celeste's family $20,000 per month to keep quiet. There was a straight up lie that the FBI had a warrant out for the arrest of David's bodyguard. There's always the classic, she was a Hollywood Illuminati sacrifice for David.
No, I think he's just a retard with like problems.
There's rumors that she was being trafficked. Every girl that loosely resembles Celeste around David is being pointed out, and people are speculating if it's her or not. The most unfortunate part about this case is because of so little evidence being released to the public, along with Celeste not being seen for months before she died. Technically, any theory you
What's
want...
up with the sacrifice? There's like conspiracy theories and like people who say like, oh, well, all these people that like die under the hands of like, you know, celebrities and stuff, they're like sacrifices for the Illuminati so that they can get famous.
to come up with can't necessarily be counted out. You could essentially make anything up, and there isn't that much evidence to prove you wrong. She could have been locked in a basement. She could have been trafficked around the world. She could have accidentally overdosed on drugs, and this was a sloppy attempt to discard her remains. This could have been extremely disturbing, premeditated serial killer style murder. She could have ran off with an entirely different person. It could be someone David was friends with, loosely knew, kinda knew, met one time, didn't know. It feels like we know so much, but so little at the same time. Right now, I
just do think that the whole, like, oh, I'm gonna kill my alter ego bullshit, that alter ego Itami crap, I do think there's, like, some connection there. There's no way.
Most important thing is finding any proof of her being alive between the dates of September 2024, which was the last time she was seen alive at home in Lake Elsinore, California, and September 2025 when she was found dead. Anything in that time period will get us closer to understanding when, how, and maybe why she was killed, and obviously anything surrounding this car. The Tesla data will get us so much closer to solving this, as well as knowing how much David may or may not be involved. Because right now, he has not been arrested. He has canceled all of his shows around.
You have a dead body in your car and you're not arrested? What? Huh?
The world, and he's been radio silent on social media. And you would think that this is surely the end of his career, but the exact opposite has happened. Originally, his labels had paused all promotional activities related to David out of respect for the seriousness of the situation and the ongoing investigation.
I can understand that, but not being arrested?
But his music streaming numbers increased tremendously. His album Petals to Thorns re-entered the Billboard 200 Hot Albums chart. He earned his biggest streaming day of all time on Spotify on September 21st with 12.1 million streams. As of right now, this case has helped his career and probably got him a ton of new fans who genuinely couldn't care about his crimes. I mean,
dead bodies in cars isn't tantamount to arrest? That's fucked up, man. Like, not even like, I don't know, like house arrest or something?
Kelly still has like millions of monthly listeners.
A body, like a dead body.
David has also retained attorney Blair Burke to represent him. Burke is a prominent Hollywood defense attorney known for taking on high-profile clients in the midst of a crisis, especially men accused of misconduct ranging from sexual assault to domestic violence. Burke's list of clients has included Harvey Weinstein, Johnny Depp, Marilyn Manson, Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson. At the absolute worst case scenario, David is involved with or committed the murder of a child. Best case scenario, which is still horrible, is that he had a relationship with a child that was 6 years younger than him. But it seems unlikely that he is entirely innocent and had absolutely nothing to do or no connection or no knowledge of the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
I just think the song lyrics and all that stuff and the imagery is too on the nose. That's just my hunch. I could be completely wrong. However, I do think it's just so freaking weird, man. Why would you make all those albums and the lyrics and then make merch about like having an alter ego and all that crap? I don't know, man.